can actually believe in teams, the game we can actually support both the teams playing in the game. We have the Cowboys at the Vikings. This has been a one possession game in the last 5 times these teams have met.
Yeah, and the Cowboys, they just had a heartbreaker. I mean, we talked about that poor Cowboys fan at our last concert, what he had to deal with and what Cowboys fans had to deal with Aaron Rodgers beating them yet again. So the fact that the Packers have been god-awful this year. And they had the Vikings, who just beat the Bills. They're riding high. They just took care of business, had a really great big comeback, 14-0. And for this game, it's really a pick 'em. I mean, who do you like more? I mean, Vikings, they're 8-1. They've only lost to the Eagles. Cowboys, they lost to the Eagles, Bucks, and the Packers. So in this game, I don't really know where to pick. I think I know where you're going to pick, so I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win this game because I think the run game with Tony Pollard, 5 straight games with more carries in the previous game. He's starting to come into his own. Their defense, the Cowboys, they didn't play well against the Packers, and I know that for a fact. But I think that they can shore things up. I think it's easier to contain Kirk Cousins than it is to contain Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So I'm picking the Cowboys. This game's going to be close, and honestly, it can go either way. I have the Cowboys winning this game, though. I'm going to have them going 24-22.
Wow, that's a low-scoring game for the Vikings to be involved in, if I've ever heard of one. But for this game, this comes down to Kellen Moore seems obsessed with if something's working, I'm going to stop doing it. And it seems like this has been the Cowboys all season long. It's like they find something that they've been good at, whether it's running the ball with Tony Pollard, who's not washed. That usually works when you actually run with your running back who can still perform on the field. Whether it's Dak Prescott throwing to Dalton Schultz or something they're doing with CeeDee Lamb, it's like every time something's working, it seems like Kellen Moore goes away from it. But if this was your typical Mike Zimmer's Vikings, I would probably pick the Cowboys. But there's just something different in the air with this Vikings team. And I feel like the Vikings, with their 10-point comeback against the Commanders, and then you have a 14 comeback against the Bills. Both of these games are on the road. So the fans in this game are going to be going wild, especially against the Cowboys. I just think this is the year where the Vikings take the next step. They smell blood in the water because maybe even if the Eagles win, I pick the Cowboys to win this game. But just the fact that the Vikings are like, hey, man, our division is awful. The Cowboys are playing in one of the best divisions in the NFL, definitely the best division in the NFC. If we win this game, we don't have a ton of tough games left. We're staying in it. The Eagles drop 2 more. We're the number 1 seed. We have home field advantage. The Super Bowl goes through us, and I think that belief and just the ability is definitely on the side of the Vikings, and just them being at home. It's like maybe if it's your typical Vikings, but just this year, I just have to believe in the Vikings over there.